Love the makeup, ladies.
Drive like a Dakar driver. Enter the Toyota Dakar Toughness Challenge online, and you could win a brand new Toyota Hilux Dakar Edition.
Coming up on this 26-minute Dakar, Coma is the man to beat. After taking control of the race on stage 5, he's looking more determined than ever to win a 4th Dakar rally. To make strategies and tactics, it's very early, step by step, because it's too early. Dupre is over 2 hours back, but he has beaten the odds before. In 2007 at the rest day, I was 17th, but it was me that took home the Dakar in 2007. Peter Hansel is going pedal to the metal to catch his teammates. We're going to try to put the pressure, try to get closer to first spot. To do so, we must attack at the maximum. Pushing the limit has gifted Roma the lead, a lead he will defend with all he's got. We've got to make as few mistakes as possible. We will do some and lose no time, that's the goal. It's the start of the downwards leg, into Chile and the race down the coast of Valparaiso. Before that, the bikes need to pay a visit to the newest Dakar country, Bolivia. The 4th country ever visited by the South American Dakar and the 28th in total, Bolivia is set to be a wonderfully unique experience for the bikes and quads. The Dakar has come to our country and we will receive them here with open arms. For the last 2 years, we've been asked to study the possibility of a passage of the Dakar in Bolivia. So we'll be going into the southern parts, in the area of Potosi and its famous Sala de Uyuni. In that area, we've designed 2 stages that should be stunning in terms of landscapes. Stage 7 was slightly shortened due to weather, but at checkpoint 3, just before the Bolivian border, it began. And there were big crowds out cheering on Bolivian rider Juan Carlos Salvatierra, who sat 16th overall going into the stage. It's an incredible sensation. No one thought we'd go here. It's one of the most emotional moments of my life. He did his country proud. The speedbrain rider raced to 14th on the first part of the Bolivian marathon stage. Joan Barreda led the first part of the special. Starting 4th, he was able to follow the trail of the riders ahead and limit his mistakes. In the end, he won the day by just over 4 minutes. Race leader Mark Coma started slowly, but by kilometre 140, he was up into 2nd place and closing on Barreda. Knowing that he had to mark the Honda rider stage by stage, he ran strongly all day to 2nd place. Juan Pedrero snuck into the top 4. The 2 Sherco riders seemed to swap good and bad days, with Duclos suffering. For Pedrero, 4th place was a just reward, as the bikes were greeted by the smiles of the Bolivians, all 350,000 of them. The president of Bolivia, Evo Morales, followed the race from the moment it entered the country and was there at the finish to share in the joys of the fans. He was greeted by the Bolivian star of the rally, Salvatierra. There are so many people present here for a sporting event. I have to thank ASO who have accepted our participation in the Dakar. I hope this great event will serve to unite the people. Sport helps unite people. 553 kilometres on wide open terrain, a fast stage on the menu for the cars. It was another solid performance from Nani Roma. Avoiding mistakes is the Catalan's goal day after day, and he did just that.
En 200 mètres, attention, gauche-droite avec une saignée de danger. Gauche-droite avec une saignée de danger invisible. De danger, la saignée, c'est ici.
Roma finished 4th and maintained his comfortable 31-minute lead over Peter Hansel. With his hopes of Dakar victory seeming to fade away after stage 5, Carlos Sainz still has what it took to take the wins on quite a few specials. The Spaniard made the best of his SMG buggy, picking up his 27th stage success. In the trucks, Andrei Karganov was the fastest of the Kamaz horde up to stage 7. The Blue Boys are all chasing one man as well as passing the odd car on their way to stage finishes. The man they're chasing is Gerard Deroy. Third on stage 7, he extended his lead to 37 minutes by the end of the day. After a night in Uyuni, the riders left Bolivia and raced to join the main bivouac in Chile. Nothing so far on the Dakar could prepare the riders for the sheer magnificence of the Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest unbroken tract of salt flats. A spectacle that dazzled as the racers scorched their way through Bolivia. Cyril Dupre took over the lead of the stage at waypoint 2 and stretched the field on the flat course. He dealt better than most with the altitude on stage 7, and in just 70k he stretched his lead by a minute and a half to 2:30 whilst chasing Bereda and Coma. Despite being unable to speak at the end of stage 7, the KTM rider is riding as hard as ever. Coma had managed to overhaul Bereda but was unable to match the pace of stage winner Dupre, who took his first win with the Yamaha. It's 3:45 in the morning. We've got 700 kilometers to go. On the Dakar, the days are pretty long, particularly for team managers. We followed one of them, Jean-Marc Fortin, team manager of Overdrive Racing, to understand what he does for his team. We arrive at the bivouac nearly 3 or 4 hours before our drivers. We have to set everything up in our pit area. We have 8 tents to put up, so it's quite some work. We parked the trucks according to a very precise plan made before we arrived. It's important to have a very rigorous logistics. On a Dakar, you have to be well organised. Once in the destination bivouac, all the team managers are looking for race information about their cars. Overdrive has 7 in the stages, and sometimes news is not forthcoming. We're a bit stressed because we try to follow our cars, but the network is not really stable. For example, today, Janil never appeared on any tracking or any waypoint during the stage. It's part of the game, but it makes us a bit nervous. We only had his time when he finished the stage. It's not so bad. Janil takes 6th time on the day. He had to stop after kilometre 500. I think he had a serious problem. As soon as the cars arrive at the bivouac, Jean-Marc meets the drivers to make a short debrief, a crucial moment for him to organise the evening and night's work of the mechanics on all the cars before it starts again tomorrow. While the bikers were leaving Bolivia, the car crews said farewell to Argentina as they headed to Chile. One more altitude stage through the Andes past the volcanoes, and Giniel de Villiers has been complaining about power issues in altitude. Again, the South African wasn't quite as fast as the mini boys on this stage, and he lost 9 minutes on the day's winner, and only keeps his 3rd spot overall by just 3 minutes. Again, all the pressure was on the shoulders of race leader Nani Roma, only this time he was starting behind his rivals. The Catalan did lose further time, and he finished 6th. After taking 2nd spot at the special and managing his best performance in a mini yesterday, Nasser Al-Attiyah went 1 step higher. The Qatari claimed his first stage success in a mini, his 18th on the Dakar. Today's stage promises 442 k's of flat-out blasting towards the dunes and sea on stage 9 to Iquique. The day dawned bright, but it wasn't bright for Duclos. At kilometre 218, the third man overall was found stranded with a machine that had a broken valve. Only the assistant of his teammate would get into the line, and with a rope between the machines, Duclos limped towards home, but his Dakar was over. Jeremias Israel had the most to gain from the Duclos dramas, but his day went wrong with 100 kilometres at the finish, cartwheeling his bike in 4th gear and then getting lost in the dunes. Despite all that, he only lost 4 minutes on the man he was chasing, Jordi Villadoms. At the front, Coma and Barreda fought for every minute, but it was Coma that caught Barreda, and he was happy to chase the Honda home towards the line, where for the first time in days he could speak. The stage changed the sights completely for us. In the desert, it was a beautiful stage where I could catch Juan, who started 2 minutes ahead of me, and follow behind him to the end. Yeah, a good day. So Coma leads it after stage 9. The gap 40 minutes and 19 seconds to Barreda. Jordi Villadoms a fine third, 1 hour 38 back, ahead of Jeremias Israel and Olivier Pan in 5th. In the cars at kilometre 195, Carlos Sainz was forced to stop after damaging his SMG buggy. We broke the part between the suspension and the chassis, so we're going to try and repair it by using a belt, but it's going to be very complicated to carry on.
Con una cincha o algo, pero veo complicado que podamos llegar.
After losing close to 2 hours, Sainz and Gottschalk managed to carry on, but not for long. This time they were stranded in the sand. El Matador finally reached the finish, having lost 1 hour 56. Meanwhile, Nasser Al-Attiyah was opening the way, full speed ahead, and the second best time of the day. Nasser was now only 5 minutes away from 3rd spot overall. In the last 3 stages, race leader Nani Roma has seen his lead drop from 40 to 23 minutes over Peter Hansel. Day after day, K after K, Catalan is under constant pressure. After 200 kilometres, he'd lost 5 minutes on Peter. After 3:35, that grew to 7, and it would carry on growing. Not a good day. It was really difficult out there. Stefan gained a lot of time on us, but that's the way it is. That's the Dakar. Stefan Peter Hansel has only one thing on his mind: a 12th success on the Dakar. And to do so, the Frenchman was taking every possible risk. The Mini driver claimed a 64th stage win and became a new record holder. I know that psychologically Nani is in a position where he has everything to lose. It's a lot harder when you're leading than when you're hunting. After 9 stages of the cars, the gap is just 12 minutes and 10 seconds between Roma and Peter Hansel. Terranova 54 minutes back, being chased by Al-Attiyah and De Villiers. Gerard de Roy was not having a good day in the trucks. On the wide open spaces of Chile, the Dutchman struggled in his Iveco. His time lost after the 422 Ks, 19 minutes. But the man to keep an eye on was Andrei Karnaganov. The Russian claimed his second stage of this Dakar as he closed the gap on the leader. Stage 10 was split into 2 specials as the racers headed down the coast to Antofagasta. On the day, no one could match the pace of Barreda. He started with Jeremias Israel, but the big Chilean crashed out early on, ending his race, and Barreda stormed to the finish on his own. Behind Barreda, suddenly the podium fight was between 5 men spread over 35 minutes. Pan, Rodriguez and Shigonski all chasing Villadoms for the final spot on the podium. Cyril Desprez was the last man in our 5-man scrap. Patience was paying off and he started stage 10 with just 35 minutes between him and the podium. At the finish, the gap was down to 26. The race leader Coma was riding conservatively. He didn't raise his pace to match Barreda and was content to duel with Desprez through the epic dunes, occasionally taking very different routes to the same goal.
not a bad way to get the heart pumping.
If you like the Dakar, you will love us.